When I was 16 or so, going on 17, I hated the fact that my parents really, really loved me a lot. And, um, you have to be in at this time. You can't do this, you can't do that, all that stuff. And I felt like I was, you know, older and much, you know, too mature for that. So we're just walking the dog. I uh, I decided I would move out. So I knew a bunch of people who lived in a downtown Toronto commune, and there was a place available there. So I moved in there. I was very, very young. It was, the hippie thing of the late 60s, early 70s. There was a lot of drugs involved. It's mostly hit and miss. It wasn't every day and all that. Um, I really, really grew up a lot, enjoyed that. And I stayed there for quite a while, meeting lots of great people. Living downtown was fantastic. But at some point there, I got together with some friends and we did what they used to call a drug called speed, for the very first time. Now, we didn't know much about it and we bought a whole whack of it and we did way too much. And we all overdosed. And as it turns out, it affected my heart. I could never, ever again take any kind of drug that would accelerate my heartbeat, or I would get really bad pain and probably end up going to the hospital. So my drug kind of thing was over then. I was still very, very much taking the Valium and prescription drugs to what, avoid depression, all that stuff. And I would for like years and years. But since I couldn't take drugs anymore, I started to drink. And I saw nothing wrong with drinking by myself and using alcohol to make me feel good about myself and give me confidence. And that's pretty much what I started to do. And I didn't drink a whole bunch at one time. I would, you know, drink a lot, but spread it out throughout a day so that I was never really falling down drunk or impaired or whatever. I just felt very relaxed. And then with the medication I was taking, even more relaxed. And that was how I ended up my drinking for a very long time. Was I would pace myself and nobody ever really saw me drunk. A lot of times I would go out to socialize with people, have a few drinks and say, I'm going home, go home and finish off a 26er. Nobody ever really knew what I did. And I was able to be a social alcoholic for many, many years because of that. So we're just out running the dogs in a field in the country where we love it. And like I was saying the other day, I think I was talking about social drinking, and what I really meant was being a functioning alcoholic. I think I was pretty much a functioning alcoholic for a long time. I always made enough money. I had nice houses. I had nice cars. I was married for over 20 years till after I got sober. Uh, had a couple kids. things like that. But I always was a very, very heavy drinker. It just didn't show on me like it did other people. And I surrounded myself with people that might have had kind of bigger drug problems and alcohol problems than I did. So I didn't really stand out that much. I don't think, anyway. So I've been told. Let's put it that way. Anyway, I was able to, take vacations, things like that. I just always drank more than the average person, a lot more, but never really out in the open. I kind of did a lot of stuff quietly on my own. I would socially drink. Oh, almost fell. I would socially drink, and then when I got home, I would overdo it. So anyway, that went on for till I was in my 40s, and then I had a good friend come and stay with us, and this friend happened to get really good deals on gallons and half gallons of vodka and booze and stuff. And I wasn't working or anything at the time, so I kind of started to overdo it. Hang on a sec. I'm kind of skipping a lot, but it's more about recovery than it is about talking about drinking. Anyway, what happened is there was always a ton of booze in my house, so I started drinking more and more. Like I said, I wasn't working or anything. And I had a friend there who drank a lot too, so we would do it up together. And next thing I knew, I was becoming more and more and more dependent than I had ever been. And it was kind of my downfall. It kind of got to a point where I was completely dependent. I could no longer control myself. I just had to have it all the time and all the time. And not working and stuff, I went through a ton of money, lost a bunch of money through stupid stuff. And I was going to lose my house, everything. So I got very sick. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, after a liver biopsy and stuff, if you don't stop this, I don't think you'll last a whole year. That and the fact that I couldn't even go to the bank or the store without drinking. Wake up every couple hours, have a drink at night, drink from the time I woke up till the time I went to bed. I was just out of control. It was not good, and it wasn't good for everybody around me. And things around the house got quiet. Nobody was talking to me. Kids didn't like it. I was embarrassing. So it was time. So, like I was saying, I was out of control. I was not good, not healthy. My liver was bad. My stomach was bad. I was throwing up a lot. Bleeding and things, not good, not good. So I can't remember really what it was, but I knew I needed help. I knew I was done. I was so ashamed of myself, the way I looked, the way I acted. And being a narcissist, I always took pride in how I dressed and things I did, the money I made. I was quite, proud of my life and myself and stuff. And I always remember in our family, I had relatives who were alcoholics. And they were always whispered about it. Nobody really said good things about them and that. And I always said I'd never get like that, and here I was. So I called a friend of mine who had recently gotten sober, and he hooked me up with rehab. And I went up and had an interview and got an in date, and I decided, well, if I'm going to do this, I've been failing at so many things. I'm not going to fail at it. I'm going to do it right. So I followed all the rules. They told me 48 hours clean before I come in. I did that. I weaned myself off. I was still taking antidepressants and Valium and that, which I brought with me, and they gave me in there, which I was surprised, but they did. They had a long talk with me about it when I left. So I did really well, and had it in my head that this was it. I was going to do this. I wasn't going to fail.